Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I'm a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about this upcoming full moon in the sign of Capricorn. This is the second full moon during Cancer season. Yeah, part 2. Full moon in Capricorn, part 2. Now, before we do dive into this, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know, what are you looking forward to the most about this full moon in Capricorn? It is going to be happening on the 21st of July, so coming toward the end of Cancer season. In fact, the full moon and the sun will be at 29 degrees. Yeah, so we're coming really closing the season with another full moon. It is also going to be the buck moon. Yes, the buck full moon. And I just want to say here too that if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks, guide, cheat sheets, all that good stuff. All the links to those products will be in the description box down below. And naturally, of course, I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. Okay, so here is just a quick overview of some of the aspects that we're going to be assessing. So we have here, yes, the full moon is happening at 29 degrees, conjunct Pluto retrograde, opposite the sun. So Pluto is also opposing the sun there. We have this full moon happening at 29 degrees. The sun is 29 degrees. Neptune is also 29 degrees. And there is a trine between sun and Neptune and a sextile between the moon and Neptune. So very interesting indeed, because the 29th degree is this anaretic / critical degree in astrology. So there is this apprehensive feeling in the air. There is this urgency as we transition from one sign to another. So do think about that during the full moon. And also we have here, well, an important thing to mention actually, the fact that this is the 29th degree, right? And well, the full moon's happening at that degree. And Pluto retrograde is going to enter Capricorn again at the beginning of September until November. So it's going to come along during that time and activate what we release, what we shed during this full moon. So I'm going to touch on that information in more detail. Plus, we have here, so we've got this, so let me just read, sorry, the sextile to Neptune retrograde. I need to get my glasses, my goodness. And also the conjunction to Pluto retrograde. And then we also see that Saturn retrograde is creating a square to Jupiter. So that is going to grow stronger and stronger as the time goes on. And we also see that Saturn retrograde is making a trine to Pallas. Plus, we've got Jupiter making sextiles to Venus and Vesta in Leo, and then Mars creating a trine to Pluto retrograde as well. Yes, indeed. And Venus in Leo creates this trine to the North Node, sextile to the South Node, and then Mercury is creating a trine to Chiron there as well. Yes. And I also want to mention the trine between the moon and Uranus and Mars. All right, so look here that Mars is at 0 degrees, Gemini, and then Uranus is there at 26 degrees. So this is just a quick overview. Let's now go into some more information. Hello to you, Daniel. Thank you for being here. Welcome. How are we all feeling, by the way? I just want to take a moment. It's very, very warm. I'm finding it to be very warm. I need to take my jacket off. Summer. And this is, so the day that I'm recording this is the new moon in Cancer. And I've certainly been emotional today, just riding the waves, the fluctuations, and also very nostalgic. I have been feeling very nostalgic. So I'm just wondering, has anybody else been feeling this way? How are you doing during this new moon in Cancer? Whew. Okay, so let's continue here. The 29th degree, this critical degree. The other thing I want to say about this, though, is this equates to the number 11 when we think about numerology. So 9 plus the 2 is 11. And 11 is all about intuition. It's very universal, it's sensitive, it's spiritual, it's healing, it's deep. My goodness, this is a full moon. This is what I'm feeling. I feel as if it's a full moon for us to truly release. Truly, truly release. Let me see here. Jeannie. Hello, Jeannie. Welcome. You said that you got the cheat sheets. And it would, oh, amazing. Amazing. Yeah, you find the cheat sheets to be helpful. Oh, I'm so happy to hear. Yay. And you said that you like how I put things together. Brilliant. Thank you for your feedback. And I'm really glad that you find the cheat sheets to be useful and helpful there. So yes, as I was saying there, with this full moon, let me put it this way. New moon today, right? New moon, well, today / tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world, but new moon in Cancer. We go from a new moon to a full moon. This is the waxing period because the new moon, it waxes as it goes from new to full. And when it does get to the full point, right, this is where we're going to notice this full moon that we're talking about. And with the conjunction to Pluto, let me say that the time period that we're about to enter from new to full, so from today until the 21st of July, it may feel like a pressure cooker, right? It may feel like there is just this intensity that is building and building and building, and then there could be some type of powerful release. But I also think that with such emotional releasing, purging, letting go, shedding, all of that stuff, this is why it's important to rest, why it's important to relax, to pay attention to our body sensations, to think about what we really need on an emotional level, right? Because after all, this is Cancer season. Cancer season teaches us the importance of listening to our emotional body, our emotional needs. Hello, Diane. Welcome. Hi. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing good. So just a reminder then, full moons are about shedding and releasing, and we close chapters, we reap rewards. There is much clarity. And this full moon will also happen within the Capricorn Virgo Decan. So there could be something here about this full moon that says, try and not overthink it. Try and not overthink what comes up. I just feel as if this is a full moon that is going to get us considering really, spiritually, emotionally, how are we doing, right? And to also, of course, value, our mind in this way, which we will touch more on, but just try and not to overthink or worry excessively. And I know that that can be easier said than done. I know that. So with that, let's break this down a little further. And we're just kind of building on what I'm saying here today. And we will get into your horoscopes, of course. Hello, Mary. Welcome. You said that, yes, rest is very important. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. I rested quite a bit, actually. A couple of days ago, I needed it. Really needed it. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in again. I should really wear my glasses for live streams. But there's a glur. There's always a glur I can see whenever I do that. So I'm just going to have to put it on a wider screen. All right. Now, here's the thing about this full moon in Capricorn. I want you to think back to January 2023. There was a new moon in Aquarius. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but that was Aquarius. Right. That new moon was at 1 degree. So very, very close to that 29th degree. And then we had here the first quarter moon in Capricorn, which happened October 2023 at 28 degrees. So that was when the intentions that we set to do with things like innovation, to do with humanity, community, change, progression, these types of things. So those intentions were challenged around that time period. But you see, and by time period, I mean October 2023, challenged and strengthened. But you see, the important component within all of this is Pluto, because Pluto was there conjunct that new moon in Aquarius, January 2023. And then, so what I'm getting at here is that we are in this transitional period right now as a collective. We're really between generational periods. So this, if you think about it, right, the Pluto in Capricorn with the new moon in Aquarius, and then we're coming up to Pluto in Aquarius with the full moon in Capricorn, this is like a reflection. This is very karmic. There's something about balance here, or course correcting perhaps, aligning with the new path, or realigning ourselves with what is right and what is true for us. So as I'm trying to continue with this, this is a moon of illuminating the intentions set January 2023, this full moon we're coming up to. Because you see, Pluto entered Aquarius in 2023, but more so we're thinking this year, 2024. Pluto entered Aquarius back in January. So this in a way is like an activation, okay, with Pluto there entering Aquarius. So this activation to do with the intentions we set January 2023. So I want you to think then about things like building for the future. So for the past year and a half, what have you been building for the future? What is your role? What is your purpose? What are the changes you wish to see in the world? Thinking about humanity, the collective, your communities, the groups you're a part of, the friendships you have. Betterment. This is really a time of betterment. This is a time of social change. And yes, this could be, on a more global scale, but this can also be on a more personal level. Thinking about your personal innovations. And this also then is about clarity when it comes to structures, rules, success. But naturally, there is a mighty release coming up. Releasing the pressure, releasing the tension, getting some quiet time. And with the retrograde motion, of course, this is about going within. Even with the full moon, full moons can be a really sensitive time, especially with Pluto involved. My goodness, we can feel very, very deeply about things. There could be what feels like this purge, right? I'm shedding this no longer is for me. And think about this energy then when it comes to your own personal empowerment, especially how such matters relate to that of your role within society, your role within the group, your role within the friendship, the changes again that you wish to see within the world, your hopes, your wishes for the future. And naturally, there could be much more serious things happening on a more global scale there with Pluto involved. We think about corruption, we think about power struggles, the government, more of these social themes at play. That could be quite jarring and could be quite destructive. So if we continue and we think even about that transitional period, where are you going to go for me? Okay. So this then also is about rewards to do with our dedication and our diligence over the past, you could say the past few years, right? Think about the new moon in Aquarius, like I was saying. So there could be rewards. related to the intentions we set January 2022. But this could also be about rewards related to the past 15, 16 years whilst Pluto has been in Capricorn. Because here's the thing, this is the final full moon in Capricorn, and then that's going to be it with them, because Pluto is going to retrograde back to that point in Capricorn, and that's going to be September to November. And then that's it. Pluto will no longer be in Capricorn. So it really does feel like chapters are closing. But like I said, there are these rewards to do with dedication and diligence, respect earned, hard work, discipline, self-mastery, these things to do with this sign. We could tie up loose ends for stronger foundations. And with the activation of Pluto retrograde, well, there could be a challenge then. That Pluto retrograde motion into Capricorn could challenge our foundations and our structures one final time. So think about how strong are your foundations right now within your Capricorn house. And we'll talk about that, within your horoscopes. Because I do feel strongly that there is something very finalizing about all of this. Whew. So how have you built your structures? Are they built on rock or are they built on sand? Capricorn reminds us to prepare, to plan, and to show caution. So when we consider the transitional period that I've just mentioned there between Pluto in Capricorn to Pluto in Aquarius over the past couple of years, right, with the retrogrades going back into Capricorn and then back into Aquarius again. So when we think about the transitional periods, have you noticed maybe within your own life how things, have forced you to change? And the new ideas and the new ways of doing things, right? The differences that you've perhaps been forced to make. But you see, it's all for a purpose. It's all for building stronger, firmer, long-lasting foundations for the future. But within that, then, we gotta be cautious, wise about the moves we're making. This is about setting ourselves up for the long haul. So this is a full moon that's going to really illuminate a lot of this. And the sun in Cancer is going to shine a light on our inner authority, on our achievements. That very light of Cancer is that of protection, safety, emotional well-being, wellness. This is about feeling cared for. This is about being able to provide for those that we care about too. And so what we may find around this time period is that we let go of an unconscious habit, moon, which blocks us from our purpose, blocks us from our joy and our happiness, sun. So this could be, for example, letting go of an unconscious habit related to our inner authority, related to our achievements, our accomplishments, success, our self-mastery, discipline, dedication, etc. So releasing that unconscious habit, which could very well be limiting us or blocking us from actually experiencing greater fulfillment from within, this greater sense of safety and security from within. Now, again, on a more collective level, this could indicate that people may be in uproar. There could be crisis, power struggles. Yes. Because Pluto, of course, is creating that opposition to the sun. This could be a breaking point for many people. This could be a breaking point within society, naturally, right? Thinking about the collective, political matters, social matters, environmental matters, status, things like that. But this could also be on a more personal level. So thinking about your own life, your everyday life. Is there a breaking point there? What can you no longer deal with? What can you no longer put up with? Everyone has their own limits, right? Another thing I want to say is the full moon, this full moon in Capricorn on the 21st of July, will be minutes away from a void of course moon. Now, yes, sure, the moon will not be void of course for long. It won't be. And you could argue that, what I'm about to say, it doesn't really hold much value, but I'm still going to speak to it. And the reason why I'm going to speak to it is because of that Neptune influence. Because Neptune sort of aligns in a way with void of course. It's Neptune is this planet that reminds us relax, unwind, decompress, go within. So yes, with that void of course energy, yes, while we're tying up loose ends within our Capricorn house, and we're thinking about what did you learn from the commitments tested at the end of October 2023, still make sure to take some time to go within. Still make sure to decompress. Reflect upon, right? 29 degrees especially, we're at the end, right? Coming to the end of the sign. Reflect upon how you have grown over these last 15 to 16 years. How have you matured? What wisdom have you gained? And with Neptune retrograde making that sextile as well to the full moon, this is about your spiritual wisdom, unconditional love. And with Sun trying Neptune retrograde too, this is about receptivity, compassion, possibly inner harmony, healing, and listening then closely, tuning in, holding space for those emotional waves, those emotional tides and fluctuations. It starts from within. Like I was saying earlier, our body's sensations. And then to even add more to this, the very dispositor of the moon in Capricorn, which is Saturn. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, moving to create a stronger square with Jupiter. So on that note, be cautious of things like what is true versus untrue. Be cautious of things that do not make sense or do not add up. You could even argue that Neptune adds to this, speaks to this strongly too. But perhaps there is something to be said about having some type of mastery over the mental chatter. Mind over matter. The mind can be a powerful tool for spiritual growth. So you may find that around this full moon that the thoughts are too much. It could be that, especially with Mars. I mean, Mars, right, with the trine to the moon, and Uranus is also there, conjunct Mars a little bit, and then there's, of course, the trine to Pluto and the moon there. So there could be what feels like, oh my gosh, I don't get a break. It just may feel as if the intensities are just too much. And it could also be that we are continuously surprised or shocked. Just one thing keeps happening after the other, sort of pushing us, testing us, testing our mindset. There could be the worry, the fear, the urgency stuff coming up. This urgency of, oh, I need to change, I need to do this, right? There can be this chaotic energy. It may feel like we're caught up in some type of storm, right? Or a tornado, possibly. It can feel like that. So if we can, hopefully we can find some type of calm within the storm, right? Some type of spiritual guidance, spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowing within the storm. There's more to come, though, with that square between Saturn retrograde and Jupiter. Right, so another thing is Saturn retrograde creates a trine to Pallas direct. So Pallas will have turned direct by that point, and so we're moving forward then with our deeper insights, which are guiding and they are guided and supported by our healthy emotional boundaries. Plus, with Jupiter sextile Venus and Vesta, hopefully, this can be an indication of showing up within our partnerships on a more positive level. We can communicate our needs, or we can be warm. We can communicate in this encouraging way. Hopefully around this full moon, we can lift the spirits of others, realizing too who is there for us. We can perform miracles when socializing. There's also elements here of enjoyment and fun, right? Sharing, interacting, networking, getting out into our communities. So there is some kind of warmth to this time period, this warm feeling. Hearts are full. And with Venus trying the North Node, this stuff may also be tied to our leadership destiny. We are reminded too that, hey, there is strength found in numbers, that we're not alone. And with Mercury trine Chiron, this indicates healing words that inspire. Seeing who inspires us and how we can inspire others. Naturally, however, Mars does trine Pluto retrograde. So this could be this warlike, aggressive, explosive behavior or attitudes, which we may see show up on a more global scale with Pluto involved. But even within our own lives, right, there could be something here about being argumentative, especially using our words as a way to protect, as a way to fight. But also this energy indicates dynamic, this dynamic energy. It's powerful, it's motivating, passionate, especially within groups, inspiring, leading within groups, participating, standing up for what is right. Again, this stuff could be related to more of the collective areas. We could also be protective with our words, and we may also stand for respect, demand respect, actually. There is a bit of a trine here between Mars and the Moon, and the sextile between Mars and the Sun there. Okay. So now we have went over this, just a general overview. Just wanted to keep it short and sweet. I want to read through your comments. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Thank you for being here. So yes, Mary. Ramlam, thank you for being here. Oh, brilliant, Mary. And Diane, that's good. Okay. And Meredith, hello Meredith. Welcome to you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm going to now get into your horoscopes, and I will do timestamps. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you benefit from your horoscopes today. Let's see. Okay, so Aries. Aries. This full moon, this upcoming full moon, is happening in your 10th house. So I want you to think, what have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years? So things to do with your reputation, your professional lives, status, success. What have you been building for the future? And which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since, 2023, but especially January 2024, especially January 2024. So what themes surrounding betterment have come up for you? And this betterment stuff could more so be related to that of your communities, groups, people you involve yourself with. So really thinking about your group participations and what you gain actually from the group, how you wish to collaborate and join in with the group too. And you see, these tools then, so the tools that you perhaps learn from such situations to do with the group, they can help create change. They can help you push for change. Maybe there is some type of renewal, a renewal, a transformation with respect to group dynamics around this full moon. And perhaps even a part of that transformation is tied to that of, well, your future and that of what you're building more so for the long haul. It could be a situation where you are leaving a particular group situation behind, or it's that it takes on a new form. Okay, there's a regeneration there, and then there's greater empowerment. Still adding to that of your professional lives. And I also want to think here about how from September until November 2024, Pluto retrograde will activate whatever comes up. It'll be somehow linked to whatever comes up around this full moon. So perhaps this is a good opportunity around this full moon to consider the strength of your foundations and your structures when it comes to your achievements and your accomplishments. So what you really want to build there, what you're continuing to build for the future. And think about the very foundations of these areas, because Pluto retrograde will trigger those very things from September until November. Yes, innovation and creating a difference comes up. Plus, with the trine to Mars in your Gemini house, I can't help but think that the notable shifts and renewals that occur when it comes to your communities and teams, etc., they will help enhance the goals that you possess with respect to your intellect, with respect to learning, possibly thinking about your local area, and possibly as well the changes that you wish to make when it comes to your everyday lives, really, right? So getting from A to B, communication with others, more general conversations. I mean, for example, this could be about making new friends, right? Possibly making new friends, joining forces with fresh faces. This could also be about taking on a whole new subject that excites you. Even with Jupiter there, Jupiter adds some type of positivity and the expansion there as well, the growth. And then I also just want to finish by saying that the Sun in Cancer in the 4th house shines its light of protection and emotional wellness onto your inner authority with respect to your professional life. So there is something here about your emotional needs being a big focus point. Yes, your emotional needs truly matter around this time. And so I get this sense that there is something finalizing, there's something clarifying about your successes and how those things are then linked to that of your emotional wellness. So consider then what is holding you back within your profession when it comes to success and achievement. So what is holding you back within these areas from feeling emotionally secure? Okay, so now we think about Taurus. Well, Taurus. Okay, so this full moon is happening in your 9th house. So Taurus, What have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to your higher education, thinking about advanced training, thinking about gaining further knowledge, further understanding on a really professional level, actually, right? Considering this self-mastery stuff to do with higher education for you Taurus. So yeah, what have you been building for the future there? And which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, but especially since February 2024? So which themes surrounding betterment have really come up to do with things like, okay, the changes with respect to your professional lives, how you wish to innovate, how you wish to inspire, because these things could very well, so the lessons that you learn from such perspectives and questions could very well push you to create some type of change, or you may, in a way, just go through a renewal around this full moon to do with these areas. And at the same time, do consider the foundations and the structures of your knowledge and your deeply held beliefs as well. You know, how strong are those things? Because from September until November, Pluto retrograde will trigger whatever comes up around this full moon. So you'll have another sort of opportunity to think about, right, okay, what about mastery? What about dedication and the respect that I've earned when it comes to knowledge and sharing, right? Sharing your knowledge with the world, broadcasting, publishing. And to also add to this, with the trine to Mars, so the trine between Pluto and Mars there especially, you know, that's a same degree trine, but there does seem to be something about how the shedding, the releasing, the clarity that comes up with respect to higher education and career, how those things will help enhance your goal setting when it comes to your income, your earnings, your spending habits, possibly considering having multiple streams of income or juggling things about there, the flexibility, the versatility piece. And lastly, with the sun in the third house, right? So the sun in Cancer shines its light of protection and emotional wellness onto your inner authority. So the protection and emotional wellness is linked to that of your neighborhood. It's linked to that of commuting, thinking about your education, learning, how you communicate. So yeah, the light of protection when it comes to these areas are shining on that of your inner authority when it comes to the further understanding stuff, the publishing stuff. So consider what is holding you back here from feeling more emotionally secure. You know, is it that there is, you know, any power dynamics, or are there major shifts that will occur? Maybe this could be a mental thing. This could be a psychological thing for you. So yeah, thinking about even just like a deeply held belief, right? A deeply held belief about your worth, about how you show up, you know, on a more serious level there, and how thinking about how such things then are tied to broadcasting and publishing. But yeah, think about how such matters may hold you back from feeling emotionally secure. Gemini. Okay, just give it a few seconds. Okay, so Gemini. This full moon is happening in your 8th house. All right. So for you, Gemini, what have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years? When it comes to things like paying off debt, managing other people's money, managing other people's accounts, business, like business could be a big part of this. Shared resources, considering how you share with others on a financial prosperous level there. And even considering the inner work that you've been doing, right? Yeah, facing certain inner blockages, possible repressed emotions could be a big focus. So, what have you been building for the future? And which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024? So which themes to do with things like, okay, collective change, making a difference within the world. But this stuff that I talk about comes out via how you broadcast and how you publish. The message that you share with the world is very much that of, okay, we need to change this and this needs to be better, and thinking about humanity. And so there could be major shifts that have already occurred for you, but this full moon is like a moment of clarity. It's a moment to just come to terms with what you've already learned so far, and possibly releasing what no longer serves you. And so you'll use these tools, when you reflect upon what's come up for you recently, you can use these tools to then push for change, to go through some type of psychological renewal. Maybe, for many Gemini, there has been a lot that's been very heavy, right? Things that have really been heavy on your heart, heavy for you psychologically. There could be loss, death, sexial matters, which have been quite challenging for you. Coming to terms with your asexuality, all these types of things over these number of years. So this full moon could be like a point of release, maybe a point of, just what you're not going to put up with anymore. It could be quite an empowering thing, actually. A time of empowerment, a time of knowing firmly what your boundaries are, what your limits are. And the thing about this too is from September until November 2024, Pluto retrograde will trigger what comes up around this full moon. Will be a point of an activation point. And so consider then the foundations and the structures that exist when it comes to shared resources, for instance, when it comes to how you collaborate and join together with others financially. Again, this could be related to business, really. It could be related to business. So the full moon could be a good time to gain clarity about the very strength of those foundations there. And when the Pluto retrograde does trigger, this point, this area for you from September until November, hopefully you'll be prepared. Hopefully you'll have some things in order. And at the same time, we notice that with the trine to Mars in the first house, well, the things that I just mentioned, right, to do with making a difference within the world, changes within the world, possibly linking up with others, collaborating within teams, networking, etc., and how all these matters come, they show up through broadcasting and publishing and media and stuff like that. These matters may also then enhance your talents to do with, well, new personal aims. Enhance your goals to do with your personal aims, particular personal desires, passion projects, new wants. With Mars in your first house, it will appear as if Gemini, you're coming up to a time period of, okay, I want to really initiate, I want to think about my goal setting and, what I want really from my future. I even just want to say this for you, Gemini. I want you to think about how the last time Mars was in your sign was a couple of years ago, and there was the retrograde. I think it was around end of 2022. So there was that Mars retrograde in your sign. So this is it's a good opportunity then for you to think about, oh well, end of 2022, I was going over my plans, I was going over the steps I want to take and the changes I want to make when it comes to my aims and ambitions. But now with Mars coming back into your sign and moving all the way through your sign over the summer, it's go time. It's go time. It's time to make things happen. And then I also want to mention that the sun in Cancer in the second house shines its light of protection and emotional wellness onto this full moon. So there are big themes to do with your financial position, considering the safety that's involved there, the emotional safety that's really required there for you. Maybe a lot of this is to do with family, providing, feeling steady, feeling secure. So that light of protection shines on your inner authority to do with shared resources, having to manage the accounts more strongly. So do think about what may be holding you back there too. Um, what may be holding you back when it comes to the psychological stuff, possibly from feeling emotionally secure. I mean, this could be fear, as an example. There could be a renewal or a release when it comes to something fearful. Okay, so we move on to Cancer now. Cancer, all right. So this full moon for you, Cancer, is happening in your 7th house. Right, so what have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to commitment, when it comes to relating, partnership, collaboration, clients, customers? Maybe for many Cancerians, this has been really about business, right? Business relationships may have well, they have been going through major shifts and transitions for you. Even thinking about how you show up within partnership, potential themes to do with power, control, potential themes to do with greater responsibility, things like that. So, what have you been building then? So, reflect on these things during the full moon. I mean, this full moon could invite a release, some type of clarity to do with these areas. And then also consider which themes surrounding the betterment of, humanity, which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, but especially since February 2024. And this stuff then is tied to that of intimacy, others, emotional vulnerability. Oh my gosh, emotional vulnerability is a big thing here. Whew. And of course, as Pluto continues to move through Aquarius, you're going to see more of these things come to light. But still, this full moon could be like a release, a trigger. This full moon could invite some type of renewal, a change of perspective to do with intimacy. And maybe even a part of this is in how you relate on a more intimate level with others. And maybe there's something about feeling misunderstood. But hopefully, there could be greater clarity about such areas, right? So feeling more like others can connect with you there. Hopefully, it can be actually quite healing for you, actually, around this full moon, Cancer. Just sort of reflecting upon the relationships that I have with some Cancerians in my life. And when I think about it, just to consider my personal experience, I have noticed changes within our relationship. And perhaps a big part of that is because I myself am trying to come to understand the ways Cancer shows up within partnership and relationships more. Maybe my Aquarius self, because it's funny, my Aquarius energy would show up within your eighth house, Cancer. Yeah, for me, I'm trying to just come to terms with greater patience and the fluctuations that you experience, right? Your emotional fluctuations and everything. I'm trying to really come from a place of holding space for those emotional fluctuations and tides and not trying to change them. Yeah, very healing, actually. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to add, just personally. But to continue with this, I also want to mention that this is a full moon that will test or bring clarity to your foundations and structures within partnership and the respect that you possibly have earned too. Thinking about the respect that you have earned when it comes to clients and customers. This could be a rewarding time. This could be a time off while you're gaining recognition. You're gaining recognition for the dedication that you've put into your partnerships over all these years. And naturally, Pluto retrograde from September until November will trigger this moon point. So there could be more changes and transformations up ahead, but hopefully things are quite strong and steady for you, and that you can possibly prepare, or if things do change, you're still going to get through it, right? And the other thing is the trine to Mars. So this trine to Mars is in the 12th. Well, there could be this enhancement then to your spirituality goals. There could be that. I even go back to the eighth house and I think about the occult. I think about the paranormal, the taboo, the unknown, secrets, mystery, deepest, darkest desires, things like that. So, hey, maybe with the trine to Mars, there could be an indication here of feeling quite inspired and motivated to get things moving when it comes to the spiritual, your spiritual, yeah, your spiritual goals, and just as well taking time to yourself, taking time to rest when you can. When I think about the 12th house, I always think about rest and sleep as well. But hey, this could be still exciting. There could be some exciting shifts happening behind the scenes for you. You could be making those moves behind the scenes, which could also possibly relate to that of community and networking and relationships. And I also want to mention that the sun shines a light of protection and well-being there. Of course, this is your season, Cancer. Again, I just want to say happy birthday to all of you solar Cancerians out there. But the sun in your first house shines a light of protection and emotional wellness onto that of the moon in the seventh there. So thinking about your inner authority. So, this full moon can be a time of celebration. It could be a time of, rejoicing, rejoicing to do with new beginnings, rejoicing when it comes to new chapters, right, with the first house. But still, there's this supportive influence present here, really shining on that of your inner authority within partnerships. And then recognizing too what may be holding you back from feeling emotionally secure. Is it that there are certain blockages that keep you from experiencing greater emotional fulfillment? Maybe those blockages are somehow again tied or linked to that of partnership. It goes back to partnership. Okay, so Leo, I'm just going to read here. Mary, thank you. Daniel, you said it's beer time. Oh, cool. Hello to no one. Welcome. It's so funny because the name is No One. It's like, no one is here. And hello to Krish. Krish, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Okay, so we're going to move on to Leo now. Let's see. Leo. All right. So this full moon is happening in your 6th house. So what have you been building for the future here, Leo, over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to work, your services, employment, your health, thinking about longevity? Yeah, truly thinking about those commitments that you've made and the dedication and the discipline that has went into matters related to your health, right? Very much about health, your body, your wellness, and naturally considering your productivity levels, efficiency, etc. And also think about which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023. So especially since February 2024, themes then to do with partnerships and clients and customers. And the thing about this is these changes and these tools, these lessons that have came up for you when it comes to partnership and relating, well, these things could also go through some type of renewal or a change or a major transition around this full moon. Or it's that you can sense that there is change up ahead, so this could be a difference that you make to your client-customer relationships. This could be about really getting your community involved when it comes to relationships. This also could be about your more one-to-one relationships. So thinking about your significant other, for example, there could be some type of new vision, a new hope, a new wish for the future that comes up. Whatever the case, we're noticing renewals and change. And what I further want to mention is, do consider the strength of the foundations and structures when it comes to your job, your work, because Pluto is going to re-enter Capricorn from September until November and will trigger that degree again. So there could be something about, a change or a renewal that can indicate, how are your foundations? It's like how well are you prepared, basically? Can you prepare for the storm? preparing for the storm, yes. And even if it is that there are certain renewals that occur, it's still learning from those lessons again. There's one more hit, right? There's one more activation of Pluto, and it's uh, forcing you to change stuff. There's one more hit of that. And again, it relates back to that of your mastery, your dedication, and your inner authority. And then we notice that with the trine to Mars in the 11th house, we further see more information to do with community and networking and groups and teams and everything. Yeah. I feel like for many Leos, there is a lot to do with getting people together and even just finding your sort of flow, your own perspective within the group. I think there's something about innovation. Yeah, that group innovation and intellectually changing as well. Maybe intellectually changing on a more one-to-one level. I mean, this could be an improvement that you make to your services, for instance, so that things are more long-lasting, or so that things are more steady and secure. But then this, of course, could also be tied to that of just your employment in general, right? How you operate, how you function on a day-to-day level, and how you're treated within your job, for instance, too. Yeah, so I feel like the relationship dynamic there when it comes to work will be highlighted strongly around this full moon. And also, I want to mention that the Sun in Cancer, which is in the 12th, is shining a light of protection and emotional well-being onto that of your inner authority within work. So if anything, I think for many Leos too, this is a season, right, with Cancer season, where you are going behind the scenes and you're doing a lot of inner reflection and you're trying to make sense of, okay, what lights you up, what brings you joy, and maybe a part of that is more so about nurturing yourself, right? Nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, retreating, escaping. Yeah, but do consider as well your protection in this regard. Just but some alone time could be really highlighted around this full moon, and then these emotional needs of yours are shining a light on the structure, dedication stuff within work, and the authority stuff. So do also consider as well what is holding you back when it comes to your everyday tasks and productivity, like what is holding you back basically from feeling more emotionally secure. And I feel the need to mention this as well for you, Leo. Yes, Venus and Mercury are still in your first house, so there is still a good bit of socializing, attracting, focusing on your earning potential goals, right? Wanting to get together with others and to be very creative about that, right? There's a lot of creativity that seems to be coming out of you around this time period, Leo. I mean, we're coming up to your season very, very soon, but maybe the full moon in Capricorn still indicates just this moment, this period of being able to release and to tune in. And I think, that is something that I've mentioned for. I mentioned that throughout the overview of this full moon, just the importance of being able to tune in, and to just allow ourselves to process, to reflect upon what has come up over the last many years whilst Pluto has been in Capricorn. Okay, Virgo. Okay. Virgo. All right, so the full moon is happening in your fifth house. So for you Virgos, I want you to think about what you have been building for the future. So over the past 15 to 16 years, when it comes to your art, your creativity, your hobbies, and also which themes surrounding betterment have come up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024. So which themes have come up to do with work, services, health, and have you already experienced certain renewals or transitions or transformations, regeneration, etc.? Have you experienced these things already, especially this year, when it comes to the likes of health and work and your services and your productivity? Upon reflection, I myself, I have a Virgo rising and I can relate to this. And I'll just even give you a quick example to draw from. So I was saying there that with Pluto in the position it's in, right? Aquarius back into Capricorn, back into Aquarius, right? This is really a transitional period. It's this generational shift that is happening. The in-between, the between phase. And with Pluto going back and forth as it has from or between these signs over these past couple of years or so, I have noticed how my life has changed and evolved when it comes to things like play, fun, hobbies, entertainment, romance, love, and then also work, my health. And this is the thing about it. It's how Pluto will re-enter Capricorn again from September until November. So when I say this, right, think about the strength of the foundations and the structures that exist for you, Virgo, when it comes to your creativity and your hobbies. Think about those things because from September until November, Pluto retrograde will activate this stuff again. So the full moon will welcome some type of transition, a renewal, a release, reward, possibly, hopefully, reward when it comes to your hard work and your dedication and how these things are linked to your creativity and your hobbies, your art, your love lives, etc. But yes, Pluto retrograde will activate at that point again, welcoming another renewal. And this is why then it's good to think about how strong are your foundations and your structures. So I know for myself, certain foundations and structures, they had to come down. I realized how certain foundations and structures were not so structured, actually, the cracks. I have realized that when it comes to my hobbies there and my creativity over the past couple of years. So Pluto in a way has been a blessing because I've been able to see what's not working, and then I can build from firmer, stronger ground. So think about this for you, Virgo, how you can build from stronger ground for long-lasting results. And then we notice here that the trine, so there is the trine to Mars in the 10th. Oh, well, a lot of this has to do with status, your career, your professional lives, how you present yourselves, in front of the public, okay, success, these things, and how success then, of course, for you is so much about your intelligence, is so much about your creativity, and being articulate and even communicating with others, reporting, advertising, learning more, passing on information, connecting. And then at the same time, the sun will shine its light of protection and emotional wellness onto your inner authority there. So there could be themes and elements to do with friendships and group dynamics, group participations, how safe, how secure, how protected you feel within them. And do consider, is there anything holding you back from feeling emotionally secure within your friendships and groups? And maybe some of this stuff is tied to your individuality, how you express yourself, being valued for being yourself. So thinking about how you can even allow for more authentic connection. Okay, so Libra next. Libra. Okay, so this full moon is happening in your 4th house. All right, so what have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to family, home, thinking about the life that you have been creating there with respect to family and home? And are those foundations, are those structures solid? Are they strong? I also want you to think about which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024. So we think about then the themes surrounding betterment to do with children, fun, play, creativity, art, self-expression, your ego, individuality, etc. I feel like for many Libras, you have been coming to terms with your own uniqueness, your own quirks, your own interests that may not necessarily be considered conventional. And there's also something here about the transitions and the transformations that have already been very explosive for you and quite transformative for you when it comes to fun and play. Again, this could be about children, this could be the sudden changes and the new ways of doing things, the differences to do with children. But then the thing is that when we consider the foundations and the structures with respect to your home and your family, Pluto retrograde from September until November will activate where this moon is. So there could be some more shifts coming up, more surprises possibly. But hey, Capricorn also says, you know what, you've been putting in the work, you've been dedicated, and this is about the respect that you have earned too, right? The respect that is earned when it comes to the self mastery you possess here, right? The self mastery when it comes to your home and family, and basically just what you have been focused on so diligently, in this highly disciplined way over these years, Libra. So, indeed, you could be rewarded. There could be some clarity. There could be a release within these areas. And with the trine to Mars in the ninth, this could even be related to that of travel or higher education, learning more, expanding your mind. There's personal growth, or there's growth here on a more global scale. Perhaps this stuff is related to that of your intellectual goals, publishing goals, research goals, broadcasting goals, etc. So think even about how such matters are tied to your creativity and your art. And the other thing I want to mention is the sun in Cancer in the 10th shines its light of protection and wellness onto that of your 4th house. So for you, Libra, there are elements I feel to do with how safe and supported you feel on a more professional level, or it could be about purpose in general, right? Purpose tied to that of nurturing, purpose tied to that of caregiving or support. But still, this light of protection and emotional wellness is shining on that of your inner life, that of your inner authority within the home, within your family. Yeah, so consider possibly what is holding you back when it comes to home and family from feeling more emotionally secure and safe there. So we move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, all right. The full moon for you, Scorpio, is happening in your 3rd house. All right. So what have you been building for the future over these past 15 to 16 years or so? When it comes to things like your local area, your local neighborhood, maybe for many Scorpios, you have went through these major transitions and transformations to do with moving, relocating. And again, this could be more on a local level within your local city, your neighborhood. Plus, what have you been building for the future when it comes to communication, how you communicate with others and being respected within communication, being a firm, controlled, disciplined, dedicated communicator or educator, possibly. So do consider what have you been building so far, how you have been speaking with greater authority over these years, and which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024. So things to do with home and family and your emotional needs with Pluto there. Perhaps for many Scorpios, it could be your emotional world, your inner world. You've already been feeling this renewal stuff, or the progression or the evolution of, oh, I can see what I've outgrown. I can see the types of attitudes or relationships I've outgrown there which do not align with me anymore. Or this stuff could be more so related to the physical, more about literally the home you live in and the safety that is felt within the home amongst your family members, for instance. So This is a full moon that could be like a trigger point, an activation point, but then we also see that when Pluto does enter Capricorn again from September until November, there will be another activation point. Such matters will be tied to how you show up within your local area and your neighborhood. So think about the foundations and the structures that exist there. Do they feel steady? Do they feel sturdy? Yes, Pluto could very well show up as another trigger point, another renewal point. But again, this could be about planning well. This could also be about showing some type of caution and learning from what you've already been building, how you've already matured. My goodness, how you've matured massively with respect to your attitudes, with respect to siblings, neighbors, cousins, your peers, with respect to your classmates as well. Yeah, there's a lot here to do with just the clarity and feeling possibly like you're being rewarded in some way for these things, being rewarded for how you communicate. But a lot of it, I feel, comes back to respect, self-respect, and inner authority. Self-mastery as well could be a big part of this. So how you have become really very disciplined and dedicated to a particular way of educating yourself. So thinking about certain topics and subjects you've been learning over these years. So yes, as I was saying, the Pluto retrograde could very well be an activation point again when it comes to the strength of these foundations and structures for you. And then with the trine here to Mars, okay, well, Mars is in the 8th house, so perhaps your goals are going to be more geared toward that of financial sharing. It could also be about property ownership, investment. Maybe these matters again link back to that of your neighborhood and your local city, right? Your local town because of Gemini, or maybe these matters are linked to that of your siblings and your cousins, right? The relationships that you have with them, it could be that there's some debts to be paid, or there could be something about loss that comes up that could be quite angering, that could create anger within you. Could also be your own psychological stuff coming up around this full moon, and how that psychological stuff is maybe triggered by classmates or peers or family members. Things could get heated, possibly. But try and just breathe. Try and just take a moment. But hey, it could also be that these relationships transform for the better too. There is that. Still, the sun in Cancer in the 9th shines its light of protection and emotional wellness onto that of your inner authority. So perhaps this is linked to that of your self-beliefs, your deeply held beliefs, and how your deeply held beliefs are about your own emotional wellness and how you can keep yourself safe. And maybe as well, there's something about seeking more knowledge or wanting to learn more about a particular subject that you have grown within, that you've dedicated yourself to, but you want to now consider, okay, well, can I take this further? And how do I feel about that? But still do consider what is holding you back from feeling emotionally secure. So the what is holding you back stuff could be about possibly negative thoughts or pessimistic thoughts, or just jumping to a super critical way of viewing things. So do consider, yeah, the communication piece, right? It could even be that there are clashes in opinion. Even think about how Pluto is still opposing the sun after all, right? We think about the possible power struggles and power plays that could come up around this full moon, and a lot of that could be related to that of siblings and cousins, peers, etc. for you. Okay, so Sagittarius. Sagittarius. So the full moon is happening in your second house. All right. I want you to think about what you have been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to, well, your finances, how you can support yourself, how you can provide for yourself, your earning potential. Yeah, what have you been building? What are the foundations and the structures that exist? How strong are they when it comes to these areas? Because the thing about this is, yes, from September until November, Pluto retrograde will activate this 29th degree and could very well bring up more transitions, more transformations and renewals there to do with these areas. And think too then about which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, and especially since February 2024 with Pluto being in your third house. The way I kind of view this is, for many Sagittarians, you've noticed a change in your position, a change within your environment to do with your local area, right? There's something about how you get from A to B that has changed massively. There's something even about how you communicate with each other, with others. There's also possibly matters to do with learning and wanting to know more, thinking differently, thinking outside of the box, innovating as well. So showing innovation when it comes to learning. And yeah, maybe just on a more everyday get from A to B level, you have seen huge changes, and naturally a lot of this could be for the better. It could be for the better. But again, I just think that with the activation from September until November with Pluto retrograde in your second house, there will be another hit of, okay, the financial stuff. How secure is everything? Good opportunity to see how much you've grown and how dedicated you've been, how disciplined you've been, how you've grown, how you've grown up, how you've matured, basically. Respect could be earned, right? Around this full moon, you could very well gain clarity about all you have achieved, all you've been successful within. And then with the trine to Mars, well, the seventh house comes into this. So there could also be via others, via your partnerships and your relationships, that you receive that feedback, right? You receive that feedback of encouragement. You receive that feedback of, hey, I notice how much you've been working really well. I notice how dedicated you've been. Possibly this could open up, collaboration opportunities for you. There could be partnership collaborations, business deals made, contracts and agreements and everything could come up, and you're thinking about, oh, that's a possible new venture. That's a possible new goal that I might, set for myself. And then, of course, this could also show up more so with your significant other, right? And the transformations to do with how you speak to each other. But then, hey, the thing about this too is, do be cautious of the power struggle stuff, the power plays, the power dynamics that could come up around this full moon as well. And then this is where we bring it back to then the sun in Cancer, right? So the sun in Cancer is shining a light on protection and emotional wellness there on the moon. So this protection and this emotional wellness is to do with intimacy and closeness and bonding and feeling understood and connecting on a more emotional, spiritual level there. Being able to read between the lines, sensing things, holding space for others. I think emotional bonding is going to be a big, important element here when we think about what you need truly around this time period. But you see, this stuff is shining its light on your inner authority to do with resources and your earning potential and even your self-worth. So for instance, this could be about you need that emotional bond process to happen so that you feel right, so that you feel more secure, you feel respected, you feel loved, etc. But do consider then what may be holding you back from feeling emotionally secure too, because there could be your own sort of limitations or your own hesitations that come up around this full moon. Maybe because you don't want to give up control, or because there's some fear that comes up. Okay, so let's think about Capricorn next. Okay, Capricorn. Well, happy second full moon here, Capricorn. This is another full moon in your sign throughout Cancer season. I hope you're doing okay since the last full moon in your sign. Also, just want to say quickly, Eddie, hi. Hi, welcome. I hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining. So yes, the second full moon in your sign here, Capricorn. Well, a lot of this is to do with you. What have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years when it comes to your successes, your achievements, your long-term goals? This is you. This is about discipline. This is about control, self-mastery, right? That self-control piece, that self-mastery piece, dedication, respect, the respect earned. This is a full moon that's going to bring so much clarity and so much reward when it comes to these things for you, and how such matters that are linked to your aims and your ambitions, your life path. Perhaps too, a lot of this is to do with your physical appearance, how you present yourself to the world. Indeed, there is such a focus on you here, Capricorn, and what you have been building for the long haul. But also, which themes surrounding betterment have came up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024, to do with your finances and your earning potential. Maybe for many Capricorns, yes, on one hand, it says, okay, Pluto has been out of your sign, and you may feel as if you've gotten a bit of a breather from that. But with Pluto entering Aquarius, there's a lot to be said about how you really want to set yourself up then financially. It's about gaining some type of greater power to feel empowered with respect to your finances. So the betterment stuff perhaps has come up for you, and you've been thinking strongly, heavily about the future. A lot of this is about your hopes and your wishes for the future with respect to finances. And your skills and your talents, right? What you can offer the world, your gifts, how you wish to make a difference within the world. So indeed, this is a full moon where it's going to feel like a big other push, another push, another push. But there could also be some loose ends that are tied up. There could also be rewards, and a release, seeing what no longer serves you. There could be some finalizing situations that come up too. But naturally, do consider the strength and foundation, the strength of the foundations and the structures here that you've been building, right? Like I was saying earlier, are your, is the structure, is the foundation built on rock or sand? Because Pluto retrograde will re-enter your sign from September until November and could very well shake up things again for you. But hopefully this time you'll be more prepared, or even if there are certain transitions that happen, renewals that happen, you will still manage to get through those because you've already been doing a lot of work. You've already been showing your dedication over these past couple of years. Thinking about the trials and the tribulations when it comes to Saturn, as your Saturn ruled, so was Aquarius. Thinking about the tests, those tests that it just feels like one thing after the other. Capricorn dominant people will know what I'm talking about, and just even in general, Capricorn placements. So yes, consider the strength here of your structures and your foundations, considering how long lasting they are, and even if there are more transformations you go through, it's about learning from them, going through those tests, and well, that's how you improve and you can develop more skills. And then with the trine to Mars, which is in your 6th house, okay, well, such things could enhance your goals to do with work, services, co-workers, employees. Maybe many Capricorns are thinking of hiring people or working with new people, or you're thinking of changing jobs, changing roles. Maybe you're thinking about taking on another job, right? Uh, there could also be something about exploring other ways of looking after yourselves. There's greater curiosity there, being quite open to change. Anything to make your life easier, anything to make your life more efficient to Capricorn. And then with all of these innovations and the differences, etc., we also see that the sun in Cancer in the 7th house shines its light of protection and emotional wellness onto that of your inner authority. So maybe this is saying that there are people there who support you, Capricorn. There are family, there are loved ones who love you dearly, who cherish you, and who want to support you. And so to consider, right, that emotional comfort coming from others, and hopefully providing you with some type of empathy and kindness when it comes to your goals, your goal setting, and new beginnings, new chapters. So even if you do, feel this pull or this push to change direction, to change paths, and I don't just mean on the day of the full moon, I mean, it could be around the full moon, it could be September, November time that these things happen. So even if you do feel this push to change in this regard, it's still hopefully recognizing that there are people out there who love you, who want to see you do well, who want to see you shine. Still, however, consider what is holding you back from feeling emotionally secure within your relationships. Could be something about self-doubt here. Okay, so we move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, okay. So the full moon then is happening in your 12th house. Consider for you, Aquarius, what have you been building for the future? So over the past 15 to 16 years, what have you been building for the future when it comes to, well, the inner stuff? let me just start by saying this. Pluto transiting the 12th house is not an easy ride. It's not. It's not an easy ride. It's a pretty challenging transit to experience, because what happens during such a transit, which lasts for quite a long time if you think about how long Pluto stays in a sign for, but what happens is you are cracked open. You are tested and challenged in ways that it feels like you don't have any sort of control over what's going on. The shadow, right? This is about working with the shadow. This is about working with the psyche. This is also largely about the unknown. So many question marks exist within the 12th house. So many, what am I going to do from here? What is my path? What is my meaning? How can I trust here? What about my inner faith? Exploring the unknown can be quite a scary thing, especially if you're someone who wants to know, if you want to have some type of grasp of reality, of some type of grasp of the future. And here's the thing, Aquarius, you live in the future, right? Maybe too much. But yeah, you can live in the future. And what I enjoy about this sign, it's the hope that you bring the world. And it's the hope that you feel within your own lives. So to go with the structure that I've been following here, what have you been building for the future when it comes to your personal development from within? And what has come up for you when it comes to fear, your deepest desires, when it comes to spirituality, what's come up for you, healing, your personal healing, your connections with the divine? Maybe for many Aquarians, you've been tested in ways where you've questioned your relationship with the divine, because you've thought to yourself, how can life be so cruel? Why? And you may have questioned, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Loss after loss, setback after setback, and feeling so blinded throughout it all. There's no way to see. You can't see the end in sight, it feels like. And that's lonely. Well, here we are, Aquarius. I wanted to speak from the heart with that, because this is how I feel. But I do want to add to this that with Pluto entering your sign, right, you are about to embark on what feels like a journey of empowerment. And I feel like many Aquarians know, or you can sense what's up ahead when it comes to your future. But it's also largely about being able to surrender, being able to let go of control. And I think this is what Pluto and Capricorn has taught you. To just trust. To trust that whatever the way things will be, will be. And to try and not fixate so much. So consider then which themes surrounding betterment have come up for you since 2023 and February 2024. Betterment to do with a new way, right? I mean, you're on the brink of what feels like a new life or new way of seeing the world. You're on the brink of what feels like a whole new chapter. And the very way that you exist now is going to change massively as Pluto continues through your sign. But you see, this full moon in Capricorn is another point, an activation point of what will feel like a psychological or spiritual release. Like another aha moment, another whoa, like how did I not see that before? And we also notice that from September until November, Pluto retrograde will activate this point, this 29th degree point in the 12th house for you. So it's not over yet, right? You're still going through what feels like just a lot of unknown spiritual confusion. It's just that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like you're in this limbo, this in between space, right? Still, and all I can say with this is you've already come so far, and what's already unfolding for you within, you may not see it, but there is growth happening. There is maturity happening. You are becoming wiser. And like I said, you may not see it. You may continue to be kind of pessimistic or doubt yourself or criticize yourself throughout it all. But you're doing it. That's what I'm going to say here, Aquarius. You're doing it. Slowly, slowly, but you're doing it, and that's okay. And so this is where we see the strength of your foundations and structures. It's more of this inner authority from within. Yeah, it's an inner authority. It's it's a more deeper way of connecting with yourself and not letting other people shake you from your path, shake you from your goals, your direction. And then what I also want to mention, the trine to Mars, that's in the fifth house. So there could be some themes here to do with greater fun, pleasure, more off time, enjoyment, right? Just enjoying the moment, enjoying the things that you're curious about. And maybe your goals will also be more geared toward that of switching things up within romantic relationships around this time, or just being more playful. And the sun will also shine light. It's light of protection. So the sun is in Cancer in the sixth. So the sun will shine its light of protection and emotional wellness onto that of your inner authority there that we just mentioned. Maybe this inner authority is very spiritual. I think that's what I was sort of trying to get at earlier. But yes, the light of emotional protection and protection and emotional wellness shows up more so to do with health, your physical body, just looking after yourself, really treating your body with respect, treating your body with kindness, and how such matters then are also linked to your spiritual well-being. Okay. And one more thing with what is holding you back from feeling emotionally secure? Don't believe the thoughts that tell you all sorts of meaningless garbage. Because I hope you can relate to this, Aquarius. It's that voice that can be so punishing, so incredibly punishing for many Aquarians. Don't believe it. And hopefully, by challenging such a voice and by separating yourself from it, you can feel more emotionally secure. Okay, so lastly, Pisces. Okay, Pisces. This full moon is happening. Oh, didn't switch. This full moon is happening. Is it going to switch over? Yeah, in your 11th house. Okay. So, Pisces, well, what have you been building for the future over the past 15 to 16 years? To do with community, connection, participation, charity, volunteering, right? Networking, organizations, this of course could be related to big firms and companies and organizations, stuff like that. But this could also be a bit more wholesome, right? A bit more like, yeah, togetherness, unity, or this could be about creating a change for the world, right? But whatever the case may be, this stuff that you've been focusing on and building, oh, you've put in a lot of hard work. You've put in a lot of dedication. And there's also, something here about being recognized or gaining respect, gaining some type of respect for what you've been doing, for the hard work that you've been putting into. But then I also want you to think about which themes surrounding betterment have come up for you since 2023, especially since February 2024. So themes surrounding betterment to do with more of the spiritual behind the scenes stuff. I mean, for you Pisces, with Pluto about to transit your 12th house over the next 20 years, Of course, Aquarius just experienced this. Of course, this is in Aquarius too, but this is going to be a time period of, well, really getting into the unknown, into the mysteries of life. This is your realm, actually. This is your realm. So maybe for you, Pisces, you're already getting a sense, getting a feel for what's to come up for you, and the amount of new visions and new dreams that will arise for you, and how your imagination could just transform the way you see the world. You could put that to good use, actually, into your art, into your work, Pisces. You can already be such creative, artistic people. Yeah. So yes, which themes surrounding betterment have came up? And also think about the strength of the foundations and structures when it comes to things like friendship, community, union, or the organizations you're a part of, and so on. Think about the strength of those foundations and structures, because from September until November of 2024, Pluto retrograde will activate where the moon is. There will be a trigger point. So you could very well see that more innovation is to come up, more difference and change is to come up for you. Things that you cannot necessarily control. I mean, this could be new rules, new regulations, new laws that come into place within your firm, within your organization. This could be something to do with how your friendship dynamics may change, and where you have been limited in some way, even when it comes to friendship and networking and communities there. But whatever the case, hopefully there is something here about you planning well, right? So you planning well for the future, you showing caution, you still continuing to be dedicated, and possibly around this full moon in Capricorn, you will be rewarded for your dedication. You will be respected for, right, for that, the amount of effort that you've put into the communities you've been building, or the, thinking about even your hopes and wishes for the future and what you're building there, right? There's just this consistency with you, perhaps, over these number of years. So yeah, there could be rewards, there could be clarity coming up for you around this full moon. Plus, with the trine to Mars, so that's in the fourth, well, there could also be these elements then to do with your home and your family situation, right? Maybe your goals are more geared to that of home improvements, or the tasks that need to be done there to organize, to sort out. Maybe there's many changes that you wish to make within the home. It could be like decorating, design. Perhaps this could even be how you show up on a more relatable level with certain family members. Maybe communication improves, or there is goal setting to do with communication with certain family members. But yeah, such things could also be linked to that of more of the behind the scenes spiritual stuff too. Even just reflection, right? Reflecting upon the way you wish to communicate more effectively amongst family. And at the same time, the sun shines its light of protection and light on your fifth, so this, 11th house, the moon in the 11th. So the protection and the emotional wellness for you is tied to that of love and feeling special, feeling recognized and being seen. Yeah, I think for you, Pisces, this is a full moon where you really want to connect on more of an emotional level with a lover, or this could even be about being moved by art, being moved by your creativity, experiencing pleasure as well. So yes, this protection and this emotional wellness could be shining a light on the inner authority stuff to do with friendship and clubs and grips there. But at the same time, what is holding you back, right? What is maybe holding you back from feeling emotionally secure? And what may be holding you back is that of the possible limitations and setbacks to do with connecting. Or maybe there could be some fears. There could be self-doubt, pessimism that comes up around this time period whenever you are in community. Or there could be some sort of annoyances there with certain group members, which, yes, these things could be holding you back from feeling emotionally secure and from feeling supported by others. All right, so this has been the second full moon in Capricorn, everybody. It's happening again, just remind you, on the 21st of July. And thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for sharing. And thank you, Anne, so much. I'm glad. He said it was spot on. Brilliant. I'm so glad. And Mary, thank you as well. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for being here. And just a reminder, if you would like to join the Patreon, you can do so. The link is down below. And I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And with that, this has been the full moon in Capricorn video, second one. Thank you for listening. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really did enjoy your horoscope today, if you enjoyed this video today, you can always buy me a coffee, but of course, no pressure, but the link is just there. And I've also added it down below. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Happy new moon in Cancer, and I'm going to go relax. I'm going to go relax, chill, have some snacks, have some tea. Oh yeah, I'm about to unwind. I hope you have a lovely new moon in Cancer and a lovely weekend. Good luck during the full moon in Capricorn as well. And thank you so much to Griff. Thank you for your feedback there. Thanks for being here. All right, I will talk to you all in the next video.